Bitcom Day 2. After a very, very short break, we're back now with a very interesting topic. I mean, how much do you know about the first European Insurtech IPO? If there's something that you don't know about it, or if you feel you should know more about it, well, now is your chance, because our next speaker is the founder and the CEO of DFV, that's Deutsche Familienversicherung, which he took public in 2018 as the first functioning insurtech in Europe, and that after successful digital transformation and positioning. So I'm sure he has a lot to share with us, and we're very happy to welcome him online now. Dr. Stefan Knoll, good to have you. Good to have you with us. Dr. Knoll, tell us all about it. We're all ears.
Okay, thank you very much for this really nice introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your interest and for the possibility to say a few words about Deutsche Familienversicherung and the IPO we were able to realize in 2018. As you can see, I'm not the youngest. From my outward appearance alone, I cannot convince that I am at home in the world of digitalization. In fact, however, almost of the digital ideas in my company can be traced back to me. And my biggest concern is that I no longer have the time to implement all the ideas to come to me on an almost daily basis. Apart from a position, or I started my career at Allianz, the well-known international insurance company. And apart from a position as assistant to the chairman of the board of management, I was essentially employed in sales at Allianz. At the beginning of my career, I went from door to door selling insurance. I still benefit from that today. I know what the German living room looked like, how different customers are, and how little customers understand about insurance. Because of my my loose mouth, I was sent to Cottbus during reunification, where I started to set up an Allianz sales office. In this context, I became the company's most successful sales office manager. It became clear to me very quickly that I was not always on the same page with my superiors on the topics of leadership and organization. In respect of my future career, I had to decide whether it would not be better to build a ladder below me and let others climb up instead of climbing up by myself. In '94, I opted for the ladder below me and started with a simple idea of calling customers of insurance companies to tell them that they had chosen a good insurance company, and incidentally, whether they had any questions in respect of existing contracts. This procedure, for which we invented the word Kuschelcall, has proved successful. We developed this idea and became in the following years the market leader for insurance marketing. Joint ventures with DKV, the Versicherungskammer Bayern, the AOK Sachsen, and finally the Gesamtverband der Versicherungswirtschaft shaped our development. In 2000, we merged our company with the German branch of a Dutch-listed S&T NV, and for the same time, we focused us on the inbound business. Parallel to the insurance branch, where we are market leader, we became the largest independent mobile service provider in Germany. We sold our last shares in 2005 when we had 3,500 employees and a premium volume of approximately 200 million. And then we founded Deutsche Familienversicherung. Before I go into that in more detail, I want to say to those of you who think about to become an entrepreneur that there's nothing better than being self-employed. The freedom of and the absence of superiors always make up for the higher risk. If you then choose an industry where a certain certification exists, you will very quickly find the improvement is possible with just a few grips, and that even with established competition, you have a chance of succeeding in the market. Founding an insurance company was not obvious. You have to go back many decades in order to find another insurance company that was founded by private initiative with private money. Founding an insurance company was possible because we had enough money from the sale of the last company, and it was the industry we really knew anything about. Whenever we asked third parties how to manage founding an insurance company, we got the answer that there was no experience in terms of starting such a business, and copying established processes was not suitable for us. Even the IT system we used at the beginning did not satisfy our needs. The third-party IT system couldn't talk to our IT system. So our employees transferred the data from one system to the other by manual transcripting. Our first insurance products was a combination of accident, household glass, liability, and legal protection insurance at a starting price of €19.99. We started sales by direct response TV, interview situations, in order to explain the product. It was amazing that the presentation was so convincing that even people who had no money opted for our insurance. This may sound strange, but it shows that insurance can be sold online if the right approach is used. By 2016, we had invested around about 38 million in the company. Without this investment, on a private basis, by the way, the company would not have been founded in 2007 and the IPO would not have been possible because at that time, in 2007, nobody wanted to finance the idea of founding an insurance company as a worthwhile investment. And perhaps you will allow me to make one more comment on this. Since 2018, Helvetia was invested, no, since 2008, Helvetia was invested in us because their ideas and our expectations were not congruent. We asked them in 2012 to sell us back the shares, what they did, unfortunately at a higher price than we sold them for. And because we did not have sufficient liquidity at that time, we asked for a payment term, which was granted to us in exchange of pleading all our private assets. I don't know who among you has ever signed such a contract. You have to be very convinced of your own business and have already good nerves. To finance further growth, we made a decision in January 2018 to go public. In doing so, we were faced with the problem that an insurance company has a limited fantasy for investors. With this in mind, we knew that we needed to bring a certain technology enabler to the forefront. We presented our technical approach twice in order to see whether we can convince the public. Once at the 10th year anniversary, and 1 year later, when we presented to journalists and potential investors in the 7th calendar week of 2018. The reaction was so overwhelming that we knew we had a chance to go public under the Insurtech label. Insurtech sounds modern, but also somewhat trivializing. An insurance company is one of the most complex things you can build, especially if you also offer health insurance products that are calculated in the manner of life insurance. As an insurance company, we had to provide from the beginning on everything that was required. So we went public as a full functioning insurance company on December 4th, 2018. We managed to realize 52 million. That sounds not so much, but we also only generated a free float of less than 20%. The economic environment was difficult and the IPO only worked in the second attempt. After the first disappointment, which was the case around mid-November 2018, we started a second attempt now with VPV, a smaller insurance company south of Germany, as an anchor shareholder. What were the particular challenges in realizing the IPO? Well, it's not easy to find a bank that can present you with the right investors. This may sound strange, but you have to assume, and this is perhaps not specific to my industry, that most of the investors don't understand anything about your industry. Because of this, you have to reduce the story to a growth or a dividend story, together with some new ideas like digitalization. but nobody is interested in the challenge to become similar in comparison of a competitor like Allianz. But this is the real challenge. Nowadays, we are as Allianz, a little bit smaller, but we do almost everything what Allianz does. In our case, the fact that our way of offering insurance and our way of selling is were certainly innovative and also accepted by many people. But it doesn't change the fact that in principle, an insurance company means many pay and a few get. The advantage of being listed in the prime standard of the stock exchange is that we no longer have to discuss what the company is worth. But even more convincing is that we can carry out a further capitalization of the company quick and easy. In order to explain this, I would like to use a specific example which took place in the second quarter 2020. When our US competitor Lemonade prepared to go public in June 2020, we saw a parallel rise in the share price of Deutsche Familienversicherung. The rise was so rapid and not initiated by us at all that I called our chairman of the supervisory board on a Saturday to ask him to organize an extraordinary supervisory board meeting on Monday. On that Monday, with the share price continuing to climb, we approved the capital increase in the board at 3:30 p.m. At 4:45 p.m., the supervisory board gave its approval. At 6 p.m., we sent out the ad hoc, and at 8 p.m., the book was 3 times oversubscribed. Apart from the fact that we were particularly fast, such financing cannot be realized at this speed with alternative forms. With the IPO, we promised to double sales expenses and also new business. We have succeeded in doing this in 2019, 2020, and we are also on track for 21. We invest every year 30 million for new business, and we grow every year by 30 million new business. Let's talk about digitalization. I like to use this illustration when I talk about this topic. I ask what is the difference between a biogas plant and digitalization. The answer is very simple. If you put shit into a biogas plant, then you can turn this into electricity, while shit in digitalization leads to liquid shit. The result of this understanding is that you have to start digitalization with a product. And digitalization is not primarily a process issue. Let me illustrate this by using the example of supplementary dental insurance. Everything is insured. The whole variety of dental treatments. The only decision we transfer to the customer is whether he wants to finance a compensation of 50, 70, 90, or 100% the public health insurance does not cover. Or in other words, he just has to decide according to his personal financial situation, how much insurance coverage he wants to have. This allows us to send 3 central messages. First, everything's included, which I mentioned already. Second, we present the best products. Well, this is not the opinion of the CEO. This is the opinion of the Stiftung Warentest, a well-known testing foundation in Germany, and we became now 6 times in a row test winner in dental. Because of possible anxiety of the customer side, we give the customer the possibility to cancel his contract on a daily basis. These 3 core messages combined with a request for very few data, which is supplemented among other things by the opinion of logging in via Amazon and another offer to use all common payment methods, allow us to present the application route that takes just 2 minutes. The customer receives this, the policy within 50 seconds. Today, we present the whole variety of insurance as a private person typically asks for. In the next weeks, we plan to separate P&C insurance and health insurance and allocate this on 2 separate risk carriers. In addition to this, we will enter Austria and we will found an insurance company. So what are the experiences of the IPO? The IPO is a good opportunity for rapid refinancing, combined with the disadvantage that the influence of shareholders is different in comparison with individual investors. After its realization, the IPO requires more work than before. And you need good nerves once the share price crashes, and long suffering until you have developed it back to where you think it should be. We are going through this right now, why I recommend you to join us as a shareholder. Thank you very much for your interest. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's all. Exactly 50 minutes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dr. Knoll, thank you so much. I have just one question, because when you said towards the end about, very painful and basically going back then, rebounding from it, that's what you're going through now. But you would take that step again and do an IPO?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If I would have known what founding of an insurance company means, I think I would. Next time I will decide for a sausage shop, because this is much easier. You have not to deal with BaFin, the German financial supervisory,
Right.
and so on. Well, it is a real challenge. It's a real challenge, and because everybody says that it's impossible to found an insurance company. Well, in respect of my personal DNA, I wanted to prove that it's possible. It's possible to found an insurance company. Back to the IPO, I think it was the right decision. It was the right decision. Yeah, I'm more or less. Well, I'm lucky. Yeah.
And Dr. Knoll, if you had done a sausage shop instead, you would not have been part of this conference today, and that would have been a great pity. Dr. Knoll, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you very much for your interest.
Enjoy the rest of your day.